Hello, my name is Roman Dot. Due to quite an extraordinary situation, we're going to publish data for the first round of the presidential election in Turkey that took place 2 weeks ago, and we're sharing, and I will explain to you how to use a tool to visualize that data. The situation is that the data was found on the Central Election Commission website, and the elections to voting took place 2 weeks ago. The results are already published, and according to law, these data should have been already published on the Central Election Commission, but they are still missing. I think that this is bad for local observers, for journalists. They were not prepared to they were not able to find some anomalies, some patterns of manipulation if they were present there, and that's why we are going to publish to explain it to them how it can be used. Now the data, the ballots on the polling stations of Turkey are going to be counted, and in upcoming days the results will be declared. I think in these circumstances the actual data by precinct, or as they call it, by ballot box, should be published and should be shared with the public, and of course to ensure free and fair elections. The data set itself you can download from the site I think you landed on, and you can compare it to the official protocol of the Central Electoral Commission to see that they coincides with a difference in one single data number of registered voters. But my point is to show you the device we made specially for the purposes of visualization of this data. The problem is, or maybe absence of the problem, that the data of the results of the Turkish elections are quite clean. They are not that distorted as we used to deal with, and in these situations it was very hard to find something suspicious and to find something that should be investigated by the local investigative journalists and activists. So let me show you how I would prefer to use this device, but of course you can do it on your own. If you are landed on this page, you see the diagram, you see filters, and the idea is to filter to try to find something wrong with help of three parameters. One is the results of the incumbent. It's usually incumbent is a very good detector of falsifications. As you know, the authorities always have advantage in this case. Let's have an eye on them, on him, on her. So the second is turnout. Turnout is again a very sensitive detector measure of probable manipulations. For example, the results of around 100%. They are usually improbable because people used to get sick or used to get lazy to go to the polling stations. And the number of invalid ballots, another parameter. As you understand, the human beings always make mistakes, and when you have big polling stations without any mistakes, it's always suspicious. People are not robots, and robots are not allowed to vote during human elections. So since we have only two axes on the usual diagrams on our screens, the third parameter is shown by color. That's why we have a filter for the invalid ballots. We have a filter for the size of the polling station, or actually an electoral object. I have to explain to you that we are talking about electoral objects because, for example, now you see provinces on the screen. The electoral objects, you can see the results for any given electoral object. You can see that the word is registered in city of Istanbul, 11 millions, and their turnout was 90% and quite high. Erdogan got 46. percent, or for example, in the province Bengal, so and so data. So this is electoral object. Sometimes it's necessary to go to drill down to the lower level, to high granularity, smaller granularity, and to look into, for example, next level down, it's districts, and you see the province of Adana district, say, Han, that has a registered voter, so and so and so on. So we will drill down to the electoral data in this diagram. The fourth parameter is just for your convenience. Sometimes when you are looking to very small polling stations, it's interesting and it's important to zoom in to increase their size. This scale shows you the level of the clarity. And of course, as I mentioned, around the almost zero of invalid ballots tells us about something suspicious, and we should pay attention to those electoral objects. And the size speaks for itself. When you look on the diagram, you understand that the biggest city is Istanbul. Or you can find something like of the provinces, and unfortunately there's Ankara is hidden here. Yes, Ankara happens to be very close in turnout and the result of Erdogan to the Istanbul. They are like twin sisters, brothers. Well, having explained that, let's show how I would use this diagram, this tool. Of course, you can do it whatever you like. And of course, you can verify that this data set is authentic. You can go to the data set, or no, don't go there. You can go there to the verification table. You will see the data. You will download the official protocol from the Central Election Commission, and you will see that the results are identical with the exception of this figure. I don't know why year after year, elections after elections, they somehow lose people from the protocol. The people are present in the data, but they are lost in the protocol. For example, Ogan got 222613, and in the data set, Ogan 613. Okay, everything is fine. You can verify, you can download this data as I mentioned already. And let's go back to the diagram. We are here. We have another level of manipulators, controls. It's usually for the all sort of plots. Zoom in, zoom out, get back, get home. You can zoom special portion. You can press Alt and zoom. You can pan. You can select. I won't select. Okay, for some reason you can select that. And to see something connected to this, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. Okay, maybe I'll improve in the future, but to uncheck and select, click somewhere on the diagram. Okay, let's go to square one. I think that you loaded the page in this state. Okay, what I would do, firstly, I would go to the better place for a full screen view. Follow this link. I will follow this link to the plotter place where these diagrams are actually built, and enter full screen. Full screen is always a nice thing to have, and we go for the as I mentioned, granularity. We can go to the districts when the situation falls apart. We can go down to neighborhoods. It will be total chaos. And the system, what happens, by the way? You have to understand that some particular place, this one, these guys somehow managed to get 761% of turnout. I don't know why they did it and how they did it. Maybe some of journalists or observers will try to understand what happened to those 13 people. But my point was that you always can use the Zoom and go to the more or less normal polling stations from 0 to 100% of turnout. That's it. That's the whole Turkey. Zoomed drill down to the neighborhood, and you'll see small polling stations or small small neighborhoods like this. They consist only of one ballot box, and that ballot box have only 51 registered people. Or you have very huge neighborhoods like 17,000 people. Okay, it doesn't matter. We can filter out small ones, but now we are going to the next level of granularity. We are entering at the bottom of the electoral system. We are entering wow, the polling stations or ballot boxes. That's where my point of interest lies. I would remove quite small polling stations for a while. Okay, I am currently interested only in the polling stations bigger than 200 registered voters. Let's have a little bigger view. And okay, it's hard to explain why, but as I mentioned before, we have this corner of cold. We have corner of cold polling stations, cool polling stations. They're so cool. They don't a lot of mistakes, and you see invalid percent of ballots is 0. And we have another extreme, and this is triple extreme. It's cool polling stations. They are probably smart, but plus they have a very high percent of of incumbent, and they have very high percent of turnout. Nobody was sick or lazy. So that's where my interest would go for the first. As a foreigner, I would pay as much attention to it as possible. For me, these polling stations are very interesting. As I mentioned before, I am not interested in normal polling stations where people make mistakes, and I can filter out them. And let's say I'm interested in the polling stations when people make 1 or less percent of mistakes. Here we are. We have polling stations that, for example, you see the province Trabzon and districts also, neighborhood size, ballot box, this and that. 265 people made 0 mistakes. It's very interesting. And at the same time, they gave how much 97% turnout, and they voted for the 95%. Quite a place. Okay, Trabzon. Let's travel to province Trabzon. Let's look what was there. Now I'm going to remove everything. I'm going to remove this zooming in. I'm going to remove these filters. I'm going to look at the province as it is. It was a mistake. Okay, I'm going to travel. I travel back to Turkey, and I'm going to Trabzon. Trabzon. We are in Trabzon. Don't see a lot of problems here, but still, who were those of small polling stations? I see these polling stations. They quite small number of them. Let's say how many people are let's have a look at the perfect people. Oh, perfect people live here and vote for it. Again, it's quite suspicious, and we have to investigate those polling stations where the 300 people, 298 people made zero mistakes voting, giving high percentage votes. But it's mathematically speaking, it is possible. It is possible for honest, during honest situation, during honest voting, to get from time to time with very improbable level of improbability to get this result. But let's have another place with San Liu Fra. San Liu Fra. Okay, let's travel to province San Liu Fra. San Liu Fra. I think San Liu Fra. Let's remove all filters to have a look at the province as it is. And I think that's it. Wow, and let's remove all zooming in. How it looks. Oh, us again. I removed this filter. Where was Charlie? Okay, here. You see a very suspicious zone of cool, let's call them unnaturally cool polling stations. 100% for the incumbent, 100% of turnout, and cool and probably intelligent people. So let's have a look at them. Let's remove small polling stations. Let's remove humans who make mistakes. Less than 1%. Okay, you see one cluster. I mentioned it's probable, but the results and turnout and the results are quite normal. 60%, 90%. It's good for Turkey. And this cluster of people who voted like crazy. So I would like somebody from the local community to investigate this region to try to understand what happens there and why these people voted in such a way. I can pinpoint every given polling stations and to get, I think, their ballot box number, their results that seem improbable, like turnout 101% or turnout 100% on the same time. 300 people, 99.933 3 and 3 turnout and the same number for Erdogan. So it's very improbable. And these zones should be investigated. Oh, I remember when said something about them. Let's have a look at this province. Let's remove all zooming in. I don't like this spread, but still at least they are. Let's have a look at improbably intelligent part. Nothing suspicious from my point of view. And so on and so forth until quorum. I do remember something strange. Yes, you see how strange quorum is. It's for me, it's improbable that one single constituency consists of two different type of polling stations. Maybe this zone can draw your attention, or maybe this zone, because it's very hard for opposition to falsify, and usually all falsification happens on the in favor of the ruling party. But again, it might be different. I removed improbably smart. Yes, not. I removed human polling stations. I removed small polling stations, and this zone looks suspicious. Like for example, you see and zero in invalid ballot box. 20 minutes of your time I've already stolen. I'm very sorry. So I have to finish here. Enjoy. You can go back like that. The the turkey lies before you, and actually you can go and do the same with the electoral data of previous presidential elections that took place in 2018. You see the provinces. You already know that this is Istanbul, and you will realize that provinces are stay the same. Our strange and it was strange even at that time. You will see that, yes, you see how they behaved even 5, 6 years ago, 5 years ago. You see those strange and naturally smart polling stations. Again, my time is over. Thank you for your attention. You can write in the comments or in the contacts on the website. Thank you for your attention.